Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Ibrahim Hanbal. I am a teacher handling the 3I subject, and in this video, we'll be going over the business model canvas. The business model canvas is a tool to help you design a business model. The idea here is that this will lay the groundwork for a startup, for a small company, or for a small business. In your case, since you are a team of researchers, you will assume that your research will now be turned into its very own business. So your business now will, let's say, be selling the prototype or the application that you have created. So, for example, if your team created an enrollment system, then you will now be a business that is selling your enrollment system as a product to your customers. That is how we will approach the business model canvas. So that is how you'll fill out the different portions here. So the different parts of the business model canvas are shown here. The customer segments, we have the first one, value propositions, channels, customer relationships, revenue streams, key resources, key activities, the key partners, and cost structure. And this is the layout of the business model canvas. Now, you might find other templates online, but generally speaking, this is how the business model canvas will look like. Okay, so we will be creating our business model canvas uh, in our example here. Now, for our business model canvas, we will base it now on a garbage tracker app. This is based on the uh, examples that we did for our Javelin board on the previous video and for the problem analysis tools. So for our system here, it is a application that will allow you to track and monitor garbage and will also provide information on what type of garbage is non-bio and biodegradable and how to dispose of them and so on. So that will be our hypothetical application that we will make a business model canvas for. So how will we do that using this tool? So we'll start off with the customer segments. So this is the first portion that we will fill out. The customer segments simply lists down the different customers who will make use of your application. So in this case, we can just list down our users who are our potential users. So for example, our potential users are our residents. So the residents, let's say, of Baguio City who will be using this app. We also have students who will be using this application. Another customer segment could be the tourists. So tourists might be using this tool in order to help them keep track and monitor their garbage. Another group that can make use of this application is our street sweepers. So, since we noted that this is a garbage tracker, the street sweepers might be able to use this application to determine which garbage is disposed where, which areas have the most type of garbage, and what type of garbage is disposed in different dumping areas. So that could be another benefit of our application to our clients. Another customer segment are the garbage collection officials. So these are the people now who will manage the garbage collection policies, the ones who will keep track of which garbage is disposed where, and so on. So they are another potential customer segment that can benefit from our app. So these are now our customers. These are the people who will directly benefit or whose features are who will directly benefit from the features of our application. So those are our customer segments. Let's move on to the second box to fill in the value propositions. These simply put are the features of your system. So what are the defining or the unique features of your application? So let's define some features here for our garbage tracker app. Obviously, it will allow you to monitor and let's decrease the font size of that. Monitor and track garbage disposal. So let's say our hypothetical system will allow you to check which garbage is being disposed where and so on. It will also allow you to do analysis on garbage disposal habits. So which areas dispose the most amount of garbage, when, where, and so on. Another feature or another benefit of our app is that it provides info or information on proper waste segregation. So there. So the first two are mainly for our street sweepers and garbage collection officials. Thus, the third one is now for our residents, students, and tourists. So info on proper waste segregation. We have information or info on proper disposal methods, and we have info on on the types of wastes. Oops, types of wastes and how to handle them. So there, those are now our value propositions. So these are now the areas that, or these are the features of our app that will be beneficial to our customers. Next up is the channels. So, what are the channels? The channels are the methods of how we can get in touch or we can communicate directly with our customers. So, if we're making, let's say, an app, how will we distribute our app? Or if we're going to get feedback from our customers, how will we get feedback from them? So that is the channels. These are the ways that we can get in touch with our customers. A simple example is, let's say, e-commerce. If you are uh, handling or if you're creating an e-commerce business, one of your channels would be something like delivery or a delivery service or package delivery to your customer. That is one of your channels. But in our case, since we are making a garbage tracker app, our one of our main channels will obviously be an app store. So we will be sending or we will be making the app available on, let's say, the uh, iTunes store or the Play Store. Another avenue is a website for the app. So we can make an alternate download option for our app on a website. Another channel could be posters at garbage disposal sites. So, in other words, we can place posters on garbage disposal sites encouraging people to download the app. Why will we do this? Well, it will be in line with trying to decrease or trying to help manage the different garbage disposed in the different barangays or the different areas within Baguio. So that could be another channel. Another channel can be a hotline or an email for customer concerns. So we could create a dedicated number or an email address for customers to get in touch with us if they want to call, they want to text feedback, they want to email some questions or concerns. We can do that using a hotline or an email. So these are now our channels of how we can get in touch with our customers. The fourth one is customer relationships. So this will be concerned with how we um, keep our current customers and how we grow our customer base and how we keep our customers happy. So, what are some ways to do this? Well, let's start with growing our customer base. Obviously, one way to do that is online ads. We can advertise the app online in our local areas so that it will encourage people to check out and try out the application if they feel that it's useful to them. Another avenue is obviously posters, so similar to what we placed here for the channels. So we will ask people to check out the app so that they can use it for managing their wastes. Another way that we can maintain our customer base is app updates. So obviously we cannot just deploy the app and leave it as is. We will have to keep it updated. New features, new information, maybe a better UI, things like that. So we try to make sure that the app is always up to date and always providing the most accurate information and content to our customer. Another way to help keep customers happy is maybe with events. How can you make events in a garbage tracker app? Maybe we can say, all right, a recycling event. If you bring your plastics to this area, we'll give you this amount for it. It's a limited time only, something like that. Of course, we don't. This is more of a hypothetical scenario, so this isn't necessarily how we would approach this, but this is one way to do it. An event or some events. So those are now our customer relationships. What about our revenue streams? So revenue streams, our fifth box to fill out, is referring obviously to our revenue, how we plan to make money with our system, with our product. So this will this will not only cover how we plan to make money through our product itself, but outside's funding. So in other words, not only selling, let's say, our product, our app, but also um, people or agencies who will give money outside the app. So a good example of that is government funding. That's funding. So, where will the government fund their app? Obviously, this will help address the issue of garbage collection. So, let's say they might want to use the information to help improve their policies on garbage disposal, or they can also keep track of which barangays or which areas dispose what type of garbage, or which areas dispose the most type of garbage, so they can react and plan accordingly. So that is one way to or one way that a government our LGUs can be incentivized to fund our app. Another revenue stream is obviously investors. Investors, so people who are investing in uh, small scale projects because they would like to see, let's say, they would like to see it succeed, or they feel that it's a profitable business, or it aligns with sort of their core philosophies and whatnot. So for example, we can tap into the investors who are in the eco-friendly businesses. So we could say that, oh, our business is trying to improve the garbage disposal so that we can have a safer and cleaner environment. So that could be one avenue of uh, profit or revenue. Another avenue is obviously the app itself. So how will we gain money through the app? Well, let's say in our case, for our garbage tracker, we can have a freemium service. So what is a freemium service? Essentially, your app will be free but with ads, but the user can then pay a small fee to remove all ads. So there, that is what we mean by freemium service. Your app is originally free. It's free to download, free to use, but it will play ads every now and then. But the user can then pay a small fee, let's say 10 pesos, 50 pesos, 100 pesos, and that will remove all the apps or all the ads rather permanently. So that is another revenue stream. So after writing down a revenue stream, we'll now go to our key resources. So what are the key resources? So the key resources refers to the different resources that you need in order for your app to succeed. In other words, what are the different uh, technologies, tangible and intangible technologies, information, personnel that you need in order to ensure that your system will be able to work or your product will be able to work. Um, example of this in our case is obviously um, or info or garbage regulation policies. So how will we manage the garbage regulation policies in our area? So that is one thing to, or in other words, information on garbage regulation policies. Obviously, we'll have to consider that if we're going to put that information in our app. We also may need to um, look up, or we also may need to gather information on garbage management practices. So that's another area to consider. What are some garbage management practices that we can keep in mind when creating our application or our system. Another thing to consider are obviously more tangible items such as servers for hosting. Take note, we mentioned here a website and the App Store, but more on the website here. So obviously, we cannot just have a website without any server to host it on, so that is one thing to consider. Another is obviously our computers. Computers for development. So we will be creating an application, so we cannot create that without the correct tools or the correct hardware. And we can, even if we have the correct hardware, we will need software developers. So we will need people to actually create the software itself. So the app developers or programmers. Okay, so that is the key resources. Next up is the key activities. So the key activities now refers to the different actions, the different activities that you will do in order for your app to or your product or system to work. So, in other words, this is somewhat linked to your key resources. So, for example, you are creating a garbage tracker app. So, what activities would you need to do for the garbage tracker to work? Obviously, you will need to be able to track and monitor garbage. Another thing that you might want to also do in this garbage tracker app is garbage disposal analysis. So maybe you want to conduct analysis on what type of garbage is being disposed of, what type of trash is being disposed of, and so on. What else? We also have to consider app development. So you will obviously have to develop the app if you want to deploy or if you want to publish it. Aside from developing the app, you will also have app updates. So, updates, making sure that the system is up to date and meets the needs or has the most up to date content and information. And obviously, with regards to our servers, we also need to do server maintenance. So those are now our key activities. These are the different activities that we should do in order for our system to function. Let's just capitalize the first letters there. So those are now our key activities that we will use or that we will have for our garbage tracker app. Okay. Now, the eighth part to fill out is the key partners. So, key partners are other organizations outside our own team that will help us with the system. In other words, the key partners are usually the people or the groups that will help you with the key activities, and they might also provide some of the key resources. So, let's try to list down some of those. So, let's look at this too, the regulation policies and management practices. What are some or who are the people who will probably know most about those, especially the policies? One group is obviously the LGUs, so the local government units. They will be able to provide us the accurate information on what are the garbage disposal policies or management policies per region or for each area. Another key partner are the garbage collectors themselves. So, collectors. So they are the ones who can help us, let's say, with the management practices. What are the best practices for specific garbage in each area? Another group, another key partner could be the hosting service. So obviously, we will need to host our website somewhere. So we will have to get the help of a hosting service. Maybe we don't want to maintain our own servers and deal with the headache of, let's say, managing a server. We just want to focus on the app. So we can get in touch or we can get some help from a hosting service. So that is another key partner that we can look at. So that is another example. That is for our key partners. So these are the people who will help us with either the key resources or the key activities. Okay, the last part that we will look at is the cost structure. The cost structure, as the name suggests, will focus mainly on the costs. What are the expenses related to your system or that will be involved in the creation or distribution of your system. So in our case, we are creating a garbage tracker app. What could be some expenses related with that? Well, first is obviously the salaries. We are creating an application, so we will need to consider the salaries for the app developers. That's one thing. Another cost is the salaries, but this time for the web developers. So you notice here we have a website. We can either develop the website ourselves, or we can hire someone to develop it for us. That's either way, we will need to pay those people in order to develop the app. So that is another cost. Another cost is obviously the hosting service. If we decide to go with the hosting service, we will be um, shouldering the cost of the or we will be paying them a uh, let's say a fee every month or every year for them to host our website. Another cost that can be associated with our business is the printing and distribution of posters. You notice here we go back to our channels and our customer relationships. We will have posters in order to advertise our app. So those posters will not print themselves. So we'll have to handle the cost for printing and distributing those posters. Another cost that we may consider are data analysis. Data analysis process, and tools. So we mentioned here in our value propositions, we'll monitor and track garbage. That's another one of our key activities as well. So that will obviously make use of a lot of time and a lot of different tools. So in order for that to be done, we will need to purchase those tools, or we will need to spend time working on the process of analyzing the data that we have gathered. So that is another cost. One more cost that we can include here is our support staff. So, who are the support staff? This could be people like those people who do admin work, and support staff specifically for this one here, the hotline or email for customer concerns. If we want to have someone who will handle this, we can hire support staff who will be the one to gather and consolidate the concerns or issues of our customers or feedback from our customers and relay it, let's say, to the developers so that they can adjust their system or their app accordingly. Okay, so this is, if we zoom out a bit, this is now our business model canvas for a garbage tracker app. So as you can see here, we've filled out all the 9 sections with the different um, avenues of, or the different parts of a business. So how will we gain money? How will we, or how does, or how is our money spent? What are our partners' activities? What are our features of our products, and so on. So that is the business model canvas. Again, it is a tool to design a business model. So in your cases, you will take your prototype, your system that you created for your research, and you will turn that now into a product of a company. So the scenario is that again, you and your teammates are a startup company and a startup business, and you're trying now to sell your application to your clients. So you are not anymore a research team, but you are a business team or a business group. So that is the idea here. Okay, so hopefully this has given you now an idea of what to do for the business model canvas, and this has also given you an idea of how to construct the different parts of your business model canvas. Okay, so that's pretty much it. As always, thank you very much for watching and have a good day.